What up YouTube? It's your boy Detroit Love with another video. Today we're taking a deep dive into the GRS Build-A-Cade Donkey Kong Art Kit and 3D printed bezel and bat wing kit by Szabo's Arcades. We're unboxing it, installing it, and sharing our first impressions. Let's get it started. The product that we're talking about today doesn't exist if not for the Build-A-Cade. I think it's very fitting that this Build-A-Cade cabinet is being converted into a Donkey Kong machine, because the original Donkey Kong arcade machine started off.
Please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. We want to see and read your comments below. And until next time, I'll see you on the web.